Break the board sports. Dallas or the Jets? Are the Jets going to get off the mat? Ravens, no Lamar to save them. A lot of steam headed towards the Texans, but are we sure the Texans, because they beat the Titans 26-0, are really back to being the Texans? Let's hop right into it. Click that like, hit subscribe. Again, this is Break the Board Sports, where we help you become a better handicapper, giving you stats, trends to help you in your betting, not to just give out plays. First one, let's hop into Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets in New York. Line, Dallas -2.5. Your over-under is 47.5. Now, the betting splits. 57% of tickets and 52% of the handle is on the over 47.5. Remember that. Under 43% of tickets, 48% of the handle. Now, to the spread. All Dallas love. 81% of the ticket count. We know Dallas is a very public team. But against the Jets, you know they're going to get a lot of love because the Jets are a winless team. And let's be honest, Dallas could have beat Green Bay. They could have beat the Eagles. Dallas could be in a much better spot than they're in right now. 81% of tickets, 64% of the handle is on the Cowboys. Only 19% of tickets and 36% of the handle on the Jets. Remember, lopsided games, not always, but lopsided games where the book needs a certain team. If you gravitate that way, you're much better off typically. Dallas 1-4-1 straight up over their last 6. Remember, we talked about that over 47.5 getting hit pretty good. Dallas has went over the total 8 of their last 12 games. Now, against the Jets, you got to go back 2 years ago when Dallas thumped the Jets for the last time they played. They don't typically play each other. 4-1-1 against the spread, though, all time are the Cowboys against the Jets. But Dallas, remember, a short number at home, but Dallas isn't a good road team. Just 2-5 straight up their last 7 matchups on the road, and they're 2-5 against the spread their last 7 games versus an AFC opponent. So AFC opponents don't help them very much. When you look at that total over under, remember, a lot of love going to the over. The total's gone under 11 of the last 14 games where Dallas has faced an AFC opponent. Something to keep in mind of. Now, the Jets, again, we talk about they're horrible. They got to stop hiring all these defensive coaches. 6-12 against the spread over their last 18. 1-6 straight up their last 7. 1-5 straight up their last 6 at home. They've been absolutely horrific. And they're 0-6 straight up against a team from the NFC. And so, again, really hard to back the Jets. But I get it. It's a very contrarian play if you look to go that way. Now, first half spread, Dallas laying 1.5. They've covered that 5 of the last 9 games on the road. Puts you up a little less than a unit, 0.65 of a unit. The total has gone over. Remember, we talked about a lot of that over love, over 47.5. In the market right now, 15 of the last 20 games the Jets have played have went over the total. If you've been betting that, you're up 9.5 units, about a 43% return on your investment, which is also very odd. The Jets keep hiring all these defensive head coaches and keep going over. Like, again, if you're going to hire a defensive coach, the one good thing, they better have a great defense. If you're going to hire an offensive coordinator to be a head coach, well, by golly, the offense better be legit. You should at least be able to have a good area on your team that's your specialty that they hired you from. Absolutely crazy to me. Now, the Jets, they've hit the first half team total under 12 of their last 19 games. That would put you at 5.05 units, about a 24% return on your investment. We talked about the over for the Jets. Dallas 13-7 to the over their last 20 contests. If you've been betting Dallas Cowboy games to go over the last 20, again, 13-7 puts you up 5.3 units, about a 24% return on your investment. We talked about the Jets 4-16 straight up over their last 20. If you've been betting them to win, you've lost a lot. You're down 16.51 units, down 62% return on your investment. Here's a funny one. Jets are catching 1.5 for the fourth quarter. You say, why the fourth quarter again? You always got to find trends and angles, just like with player props. You got to find trends and angles. If we dive into that, we'd be here all day. Dallas has only covered the fourth quarter spread in 5 of their last 17 games. If you've been betting them to win the fourth quarter, you're down 9 units, down 45% return on your investment. I liken this game a lot to that Bucs-Jets game Bucks got out front. Jets roared back. Even last week, Jets started to creep back in there against Miami. Again, I think if the Jets get down early, live betting, Dallas's defense isn't very good. You've obviously seen the ability for Justin Fields to be able to run the football and create plays with his legs. Just something to think about there. Jets, again, we talk about 7-12 ATS over their last 19 games. If you've been betting them to cover, you're down 6.4 units, down 30% return on your investment. Not a happy bettor, are you, if you've been backing the Dallas Cowboys in that way. Next game on the board, want to talk about, before we get into Texans Ravens, I want to touch on one more that I think is very interesting: the New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Now, a lot of love for the Giants, a lot of love. Jackson Dart saved the world last week. They got the win over the Chargers, which, let's be honest, Chargers decimated by injuries, and Chargers still should have won that game. They couldn't get out of their own way. Now Malik Neighbors out for the Giants is going to hurt their offense tremendously. Saints have shown a little bit of improvement, but let's be real. These are two of the worst 5 teams in the league. But I said this yesterday in our teaser talk show and in our MLB or in our NFL handicapping show yesterday. Go check those out. Check out all of our content. We put out 2 to 3 pieces a day with betting trends, angles, and analysis. The Saints aren't going to go winless. Like, that's not going to happen. So you look for spots, and I think this is a good spot. Look, the Giants, they're focused on Thursday. What's Thursday on a short week? They got the Philadelphia Eagles coming into town for Thursday night football. So this is kind of a weak spot. Played the Chargers, got a high emotional win, lose Malik Neighbors. Thursday, you're welcoming in Philly. Then you got this game against the Saints, which reality is Saints or Titans. One of the two of those buzzards are the worst team in the NFL. Right now, Saints laying 1.5. You're over under 42.5. 70% of tickets to the over, 48% of the money to the over 42.5. 30% of tickets to the under, but 52% of the handle to the under. Make a note of that. I think the under is live in this one. 26% of tickets, but only 62% of the handle on the Saints. That tells me got some sharps liking the Saints to get off the deck here. 74% of tickets, 38% of handle on the Giants. So remember what I said, because it's really key. When you have a high ticket count but low handle, again, that tells you that's usually the Joes. Just something to look at there. Diving into some trends here to help you handicap this game on Sunday between the Giants and the Saints. Again, the Giants, 4-12 ATS their last 16, 2-4 straight up their last 16 in that time frame. But against New Orleans, just historically, the Giants suck. 3-7 straight up their last 10 meetings with the Saints. The Saints, they haven't been much better. 2-5 ATS their last 7. And the Saints are on a 8-game losing streak. Remember I talked about that under 42.5 where you had low ticket count but high handle, and I said, hey, that's probably pros. All the public loves the over because it's a short number and everybody's in love with Jackson Dart. Well, between these two teams, the under is cashed 4 of the last 5 games. Something to keep an eye on there. As far as head-to-head, though, these teams last year in New York, Saints won 14-11 in New York. Crazy. The year before that, they played again in New Orleans, 24-6 New Orleans. Now, look, that New Orleans win last year for the New Orleans Saints, that was their last win, folks. That's the last win they had was against the Giants at home, 14-11, or in New York, 14-11. Now they got them at home. I like the Saints here. I would take them minus 120 on the money line. I would not fool around with the points. Too many bad things could happen. When you bet a game with 2 bad teams, again, path of least resistance. First half game total over. The first half over under 20.5. 7 of the last 11 home games for the Saints, they've hit that. If you've been following that, you're up 2.25 units, about an 18% return on your investment there. First half under 20.5. That's cashed 5 of the last 9 on the road. So about 50-50 for the Giants. First half team total under for the Saints, 12-8 over their last 20. If you've been betting that, you're up 3.9 units, about a 17% return on your investment. Your over under for the second half, 20 is the number. Giants, second half, game total over. They've been a much better team. On the road, the Giants have hit the second half over five of their last seven games. So that's a 5-2 mark. If you've been following that, you're up 2.85 units, about a 38% return on your investment. Again, full transparency, got nothing except Dallas. I took them in a 10-point teaser, moved it the other way to get them plus 7.5. I love 3-team 10-point teasers. They're minus $1.30, minus $1.35. Our first leg already cashed. We had San Francisco plus 18.5 as they won outright last night. Again, check out our teaser show. You'll love it. But another good 10-point teaser opportunity. Not just getting Dallas plus 7.5 because I think it's a one-possession game either way. So I'd rather have Dallas, who's a little better, but I'm not laying 2.5. I like the Patriots plus 18.5. We gave that out. Cowboys, Patriots, Niners. Niners, first part of that is already clicked in. But I like the New Orleans Saints money line minus $1.20. There's a couple minus $1.30s out there. But again, shop around. Another good thing about handicapping is you have got to have multiple betting outlets. You can't get stuck in one book because then you don't get the best of the number. And getting the best of the number to control your juice is always the best way to go. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Last game get into here, Houston Texans at the Baltimore Ravens. As of right now, Lamar's not playing. It's going to be Cooper Rush. This line has moved all over the place, folks. It was like 7.5. I saw a 9 pop up with Baltimore. Now we've swung not only the other way, this thing could touch 3 before kickoff. Texans laying 2.5 on the road. They're getting 36% of bets and 49% of the handle, yet the line keeps going Houston's way. Really? 64% of tickets, but only 51% of the handle going towards the Ravens plus 2.5. You're over under 40.5. That over under amount is about even, not like huge discrepancies there. Houston 1-4 straight up their last 5. The under has cashed 5 straight games for the Texans. But listen, against Baltimore has been absolute just train wreck for the Texans. They're 0-6 straight up, 0-6 ATS versus Baltimore. Now, Baltimore hasn't been very good ATS, 1-4 their last 5. They're also 1-4 straight up in those last 5. Again, we talked about that under has cashed 5 straight games for the Texans. The under is cashed 4 of the last 5 for Baltimore. And so, again, that over-under is something to look at. I know a lot of people are going to look to the over, but 40.5, again, maybe the number's really squeezing you. You've lost the value, but it would be under or nothing. Again, Houston, one of the best defenses in the NFL. Baltimore, I know they're decimated by injuries, but Baltimore is getting home, and they're a desperate team. And people say, Lamar's out. I'm out on him. Hold on a second. I understand Cooper Rush is not going to run all over the place like Lamar Jackson. I'm aware of that. Cooper Rush is not an MVP like Lamar. However, I will remind you, Cooper Rush won some games with Dallas when Dak Prescott was out, and that Dallas team, I don't think had as much talent as the Ravens do with Mark Andrews. You got Derrick Henry back there, a Hall of Famer. Zay Flowers. The Ravens aren't exactly trash. They're still a good football team, even though they're decimated with injuries here. Last year, these two teams played in Houston. It was 31-2, folks. In Baltimore last year, or the year before that, 34-10. Before that, 25-9. The Ravens haven't just beat Houston. They've absolutely murdered Houston, okay? So this thought process that Houston's just going to walk in because they beat the Titans 26-0. Again, we just said it in our last breakdown. Titans and Saints, those are the 2 worst teams in the National Football League. It's not even close. Ravens have hit the first half money line 7 of their last 10 games. If you've been following that, you're up 4.42 units right now. Baltimore plus 110 for the first half. Now, Houston, they've played well in the first half too. They've hit the money line 15 of the last 22 games they've played in on the money line. You get Houston minus $1.20 is low at DraftKings. That puts you up 6.5 units, about a 20% return on your investment. Baltimore laying 1.5 both ways here. Texans have covered the first half spread 15 of their last 22 games. Puts you up 6.75 units, 26% return on your investment. We talked about overs. Baltimore hit their team total over 17-5 their last 22 games. 17 times the team total over is cashed for the Ravens. That would put you up 11.4 units, a 42% return on your investment. Look, a lot of people aren't big. Again, we talk about juice and protecting juice, but there's other, it's kind of like a budget in your house. Take a little from here to pay a little to there. I think taking the Ravens, if it doesn't go to 3, you lay $1.20 by the hook, $1.25 in some spots, by the hook, and take the Ravens +3. I also think Ravens are great in teaser plays, 6-pointers, 7-pointers, 10-pointers. Check out our teaser show there. Give that a like, hit subscribe. Again, bringing you 2 to 3 pieces of content a day. So Dallas, I like them in teaser situations and a 10-pointer only. Baltimore +3, I like that. The Saints, I already am playing that on the money line. Again, I'm RJ Cash. Check out our other content. Click that like. God bless. Happy handicapping.